Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Axis and Allies. Today, we're talking about America and what to do on their first term, on both purchases and some ideas. So first off, as America, you have really the most options, and the most variety. So your purchases should fit your overall goals on turn one. First off, if you're going to go Germany first, you need transports, you need to fortify your Atlantic fleet, get a few other land units. I recommend your one carrier, two transports, two men, and artillery. Now, if you're going the Pacific first, that's very different. Where you're focused on Japan, you really need to build up the Navy. And so, a lot of it depends on what happens here over in Hawaii. If this carrier is not destroyed, I would build one carrier. If that carrier is destroyed, I'd build two carriers and a plane. So that kind of varies. It's good to have two carriers. Three, it's not bad to get three at some point, but until you have enough planes, I wouldn't build the third. And so, one way or another, I have two carriers at the end of turn one, so you'll build one or two. If they don't kill your carrier up there, you have some extra money. Let's go two subs and a transport. You already have two planes to put on. That really beefs up your Navy real quick. But if you're just kind of trying to split your forces and be more of a harassing force, then you're kind of just, you can't really challenge Japan. You're just going to harass a little bit, go transport each way. Let's have a bomber for the Atlantic, and then get a few more men. Lastly, you may want to consider in this case, instead of some of these, take an industrial complex to put here in Western China. Also know if India and the British have a industrial complex, you must buy one and place one here on turn one. Otherwise, it's just too much pressure on India. You got to cross pressure if India is going to have a complex for that to work. And so, once you've made your purchases, you got to think, what are you going to do? So first off, if you are going Germany first and Germany heavy, you just ignore this. Understanding China here almost always falls. Let's just assume that's going to fall. That's going to happen 99 times out of 100. And so, if you're going to attack anywhere in the Pacific, there's only a couple options. So it really depends what the Japanese do. If they consolidate here, don't attack. If they instead consolidate over here to try to force out the British, go ahead and take Wake Island. You have enough here. You may retreat the next turn, but go ahead and take it there very casually, and then see what happens after that. However, in a lot of cases, turn one is just a lot more of a build-up. That's one option here. In the Atlantic, your one main option is actually going to be right here in Algeria. So if you're going to go Germany first, or if you're splitting your forces, come on over here, send your boats, and go ahead and make that attack. So, a big question here is, too, though, in the long run, what are the British doing? Because this is one where if the British are not coming, at the end of the day, right here, that by itself, that's going to get wiped out by the Germans. You got to have British help. So if they're not coming, then that's just not going to work out. Understanding this is almost always going to get moved somewhere. Turn one won't be in the way. So you got to see, if not, then just come here and start bringing guys to Britain. And then turn two, you can take them to Norway, take them to Western Europe, take them just kind of wherever things work out. So, wherever they need to go. And lastly, I'll question, obviously, what to do with these planes. You got a bunch of planes. If you're going to Europe, get everybody in England you can. Start getting them towards England. Get them out that way. If you're going for Germany, then obviously you want them over here. Concentrate everybody on the west coast. Get the fleet over here. Start your big Navy concentration with the idea that, you're not going to move out on turn one. If you are, it's just cat and mouse. Your big push is going to come a couple turns later after you've built up and concentrated forces. Here. You guys in Central America, move them whichever way you're going. Same with Alaska. I would not leave two guys there. Bring them closer so you can actually use them for defense somewhere else. Understand America's kind of slow. So what you do will kind of depend there. based on whatever everything's going on. Lastly, it's nice to have a couple guys help the Russians, but I would move them back to Russia, and that way you can kind of counterattack a little bit later in the game with some planes here and there, just a little cat and mouse. So, all right, guys. Hope you guys had a fun time here. As always, enjoy playing Axis and Allies.